All right, this is episode let's see here in the cheat sheet. 16. To start things off, men's and women's hockey came back with gold.
They did, both over our neighbors from the north and both in pretty dramatic fashion. Jeremiah,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't you agree?
Uh, yeah.
Yes, both in overtime. So yeah, gold in hockey as the Winter Olympics have now come to a close. Was it Jack Hughes? Is that his name that
Yeah, it was
scored the
Hughes.
for the boys? And I can't remember the
Don't forget about like Hellebuck or whatever, the
yeah
goalie.
yeah he played on his head. He had
Did you see that photo I sent you that he somehow blocked by some miracle?
yeah. And then you have McKinnon, or the guy from, I think he's from Colorado. Missed a wide open net. We were not able to watch the game due to some scheduling things. It's Sunday for us, so we're typically busy
Mm-hmm.
traveling to different churches. But everything I heard, basically, the USA got outplayed, but they just showed that grit and that determination, and now we're golden, Pony Boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations, right? It's a big win, kind of a big rivalry.
First gold medal since like Miracle on Ice.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The first, that's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
In a long time. I'm not doing math right now. That's a long time. So now they're all coming back stateside. I think the men met at the White House today with President Trump. So they were able to do that, and now the NHL season will resume.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, congratulations to, like you said, Jared, perfectly, the men and the women's hockey team for winning the gold. What else you got for us today, man?
That's the only side piece I have, but today's rundown. So, I don't know if it'll 100% work, but we're going for a 2 episode deal tonight. First part is with Dad, because Dad said he is pretty tired tonight, but he was able to push through to be here right now. And then later tonight, it'll be hopefully me and my uncle. Don't invite him to this one. I don't think
Not
I
this
won't be
one.
on that long.
Okay.
At least I don't plan to be. But yeah, the first part will contain of me and Dad, and then the second part will be me and my uncle. In this part, we will do NASCAR and the NBA. I have a little bit of an extra long cheat sheet for Dad on the NBA side, and then in the second part with my uncle, I plan to cover college basketball, and then the MLB started earlier this week with spring training. Um, and as y'all know, Uncle B is really good with the MLB. So that's what we're trying to figure out right now. But um, worst case scenario, it's just me for part two if Dad's not in bed, and so that's the plan as of right now is just for it to be with my uncle later tonight while Dad's in bed.
We'll say I'm not disappointed. Kentucky right now, they're on a 3 game losing streak, and they're only up by 2 points. South Carolina, who's only
Hey, just it's gonna probably make you feel worse. Earlier, South Carolina was shooting 6 of 25.
yeah, yeah. So it's well, I watched the first half of that game, and it felt like both teams were trying to lose it.
On real, it looked like it was just an ugly game.
It's hideous. It's bad. So right now, 12:26 to go in the game. Kentucky now leads by 3, 41-38, and they've already got 10 losses on the year.
Is Pope gone after this year?
As of now, no. If he loses this game, then that seat gets really, really hot. And I think, yes, likely, because I know I'm getting into you and Uncle B's territory, but this, unfortunately, as of right now, is a make or break game for Kentucky. It's ridiculous to
Well, for
say.
Kentucky, this has tournament implications.
It has huge tournament implications. You know, they lost 3 in a row. Think about Kentucky. Let me see if we can pull up some SEC standings for you. But the thing about Kentucky is they're the unpredictables. That's what I think Tom Hart of ESPN called them. Because just a week or so ago, a week and a half ago, they were playing the Florida Gators for first place in the SEC, and now they sit at 8-6, having lost 3 in a row. 8-6 in the conference, 17-10 overall, and South Carolina sitting at 3-11, 12-15 overall. If they lose this game, and then their schedule gets incredibly difficult. They still got to play Vanderbilt. They still got to play Florida. So they need this game because they've lost 2 games to teams they should have beat when they lost to Georgia and Auburn. So yeah, they need this game big time because I think Pope can survive. Uncle B and I were talking about this later, so I won't steal his thunder earlier. So I won't steal his thunder for later. But I think if they lose this game and they don't make the tournament, I do think Pope could be done this year. But if he's able to win a game or two in the SEC tournament and win a game or two in the big dance, I think he'll be okay because they do have injuries and things like that. But they've been very inconsistent this year, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. So, want to start on to the NASCAR side of things?
Let's go to NASCAR.
As you can probably look on there, on the little cheat sheet on here, we have, of course, probably the obvious. Tyler Reddick goes back to back, starts the year off back to back after having a winless season last year. Goes back to back at Atlanta and Daytona, and then 2311, the team owned by Denny Hamlin.
NASCAR season, which makes it the most wonderful time of the year.
So, right now, 2311, the team owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, are 1-2 in the new standings. Tyler Reddick, of course, getting back-to-back wins, and then his teammate Bubba Wallace having the most stage points out of any driver so far this season. So, what do you think about 2311 starting the year off strong?
Let's back up a little bit. It wasn't but just a few months ago that 2311 was part of a lawsuit against NASCAR, with how things are distributed as far as finances, and I'd chalk it up in the court system as a win. Furniture Row was in on that as well, I believe, or Front Row. Sorry, Front Row was in on it as well. With
Wallace also has the most laps left. Forgot I had that in there. My bad for cutting you off.
But with 2311, now again, and I say 2311, along with Front Row, they won that essentially. I know it was a settlement, but to get a settlement on that stage for me is a win for Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, 2311, and Front Row Motorsports. And now, like you said, Jeremiah, you've got Tyler Reddick having won 2 races in a row, the Daytona 500, and the race at Echo Park in Atlanta this past weekend. And Bubba Wallace right there in second, like you said. Bubba Wallace jumped 6 spots in the standings. And as you said, he has 29 stage points already on the year. Let's just go across. He already has 2 top 10s. He's led 86 laps, which is quite a bit more than anybody.
And like what you said, right now is the time you want. Points count more than ever. You want every single point you can get right now.
Yeah. So we back up even farther, without that cloud over 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, they're performing.
Speaking of Front Row, there's a Front Row car currently in 5th with Zane Smith.
Yeah, no doubt. And is in the 4 in Front Row as well, Noah Gragson?
Yeah, Gragson
He's 12th. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to be them. As they were able to move past that. Congrats to Tyler Reddick. Didn't win at all, like you said, Jared, last year. Now he's 2 for 2. Not just 2 for 2, Jared, but 2 for 2 at basically. They used to call them restrictor plate. They used to call them draft. They call them draft tracks, tapered spacers tracks, but at super speedways, where you're dependent on cars around you for the draft to make moves. where a lot of what you do, as you know, Jeremiah, is not in your control, right? You can get caught up in a wreck. It's not your fault, and your day's done. Matter of fact, you can talk about this, Jared. When Tyler Reddick won that race, he did not have a right front fender.
Mm-hmm.
He was involved in a wreck earlier in the night.
I think his original plan was to help Bubba, try to get Bubba to win at least, and then Bubba did his thing, and then Tyler just won the race. So I
Yeah.
don't know if Tyler was expecting to win this race.
I don't think he was. To your point, at one point, you're making decisions within a split second, and there's typically three lanes, top, middle, and bottom. So top being against the wall, middle being just that in the middle of the track, and the bottom being just that at the bottom of the track. And you can guess wrong. And it seemed like, and again, hindsight's always 2020, that Bubba thought the top lane was going to come, so he kind of left his teammate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 45 of Reddick, he goes to the bottom and shoots to the front. And I do think, Jeremiah, I think your point is perfectly made. I do think Tyler had no way of knowing that his car could lead with missing body parts, right?
Michael didn't even know. Like, he had an interview after the thing, and he didn't even know Tyler was going to win.
Yeah, I mean, like an eighth of his car was gone. Like,
Yeah,
completely gone.
Jordan said when he saw Tyler do that, he would just told Tyler, just finish the race wherever you can, dude.
Yeah, and I think Tyler would have committed to Bubba just to make sure that not just a Toyota would have won, but a 2311 car won. And Tyler Reddick, again, missing an eighth of his car, gets out front, gets a big push, and wins the race. So, yeah, congratulations. And again, Jeremiah, like you said, the point system they're totally different this year. The points are. They're totally different. It's no more win and you're in. It is now based on merit. It is now based off point. I'm glad they kept the stage point, because for me that jockeys up the race, and we're not sitting there just watching them go in circles in the middle of the race, just logging laps, and it carries some points into the postseason as well. You bring all those points with you into the chase.
Well, I think I said this before, but it makes stage points more important now.
Yeah, every point's more important. And what I love now, Jared, is when you talk to these drivers when they get out of the car after the race, they're not talking about, well, I won and now we can focus on the playoff. Right? They're talking about had a great points.
They're focusing on next week already.
Yeah, and it's completely changed the strategy and all those things. I think it's the best thing that NASCAR's done in a while. And I read the ratings are showing that too. Daytona's ratings were off the chart. I don't know what
it was like the most viewed race since 2023, and 2023 was like the most viewed Daytona 500 of all time.
So what do you think? Are the fans speaking? What do you think, Jared? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Well,
with the context, and it seems like, do you feel like there's like hype and buzz around NASCAR like we've not seen in a while?
Oh yeah, before they added the chase, a lot of people were talking to NASCAR, and a lot of people were like, NASCAR doesn't listen to us, and then NASCAR comes out with the chase, something a lot of fans are wanting. And of course, the Winston Cup, which is what most of the fan base now has grown up around, was with the Winston Cup series. They brought that back, and now we're getting old fans, new fans back into NASCAR, bringing back the chase. I think this was a great move by NASCAR, and then when they announced it, it was nothing but positives for NASCAR.
Well, to your point, you had some big hitters behind this change, not just the fans, and the fans should have the most say. You don't want the drivers making the decision because they'll do what's best for them, right? A lot of times, what's best for them is kind of boring for us. Sorry, drivers. But you had guys like Mark Martin behind the scenes. You had guys like Dale Earnhardt Jr. behind the scenes. You had.
Oh, have you seen the rumors going around about Junior? Yeah,
I've heard it. I don't. I hope it's true.
I hope he does it for his wife.
But I think about his health, how many concussions he's had.
He's fine.
I just think, I don't know. But yeah, apparently his wife has kind of pitched the idea. So we'll see. Junior had a car in the Daytona 500. He had the 40 car of Justin Allgaier. He was a single
Maybe
car.
he tries to get a second car in there.
He could. As Dale Jr. said, it's all going to come down to sponsorships. Whiskey Traveler, Chris Stapleton, are they going to come back on for the 40? Because Allgaier was leading the race when he wrecked. Denny Hamlin took a little bit of credit for that wreck. The Junior Motorsports car had speed, and we all know Little Gator Justin Allgaier, who runs full-time and now the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, formerly the Xfinity Series. I did it. A superstar there comes up and runs the 500 for Junior Motorsports. So, but yeah, Junior was behind, this push along with current, superstars like Chase Briscoe and Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott. And in case you don't know, basically the regular season is 26 races through all the points you can. And a win is worth, what, 55 points or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
And then stage points. If you finish first in a stage, you get 10 points. If you finish 10th, you get 1. So you do the math. And then after that 26 race, which is typically Daytona in August.
Yeah, the Coke 400 or whatever it's called.
Then you reset. The top 16 are eligible for the playoffs. The rest of them, that's still what's unique about NASCAR is you don't make the playoffs, but you're still on the field, right? And then from there, it's a 10-week shootout to the championship. Whoever has the most points.
They ain't doing the reshuffle crap either.
No more 3 and dropping 4. Like it's just so it feels. I think it's the best of both worlds.
I think it makes it a little bit more simpler to
It does
explain explain the format.
Yeah, explaining it. We've tried to explain it to friends who don't know a lot about NASCAR, especially the win you're in. Gosh, explaining the playoffs where the cutoff.
The reshuffle is what was hardest for me. They were like, so why was this guy first, but now he's ninth? I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And the tiebreakers, and now it's just based on points. Tyler Reddick has a lot of. He's got a 40-point lead on the field. Of course, he's got 2 wins. You can't tell we love NASCAR. If you want to tell us it's just cars turning left,
yeah,
how's that make you feel, Jer?
It's not a whole lot more than that.
But I want to talk about guys sitting there in 4th, Carson Hocevar.
Future star, dude.
Future star. They call him. At least Mike Joy does on the Fox broadcast. Fox has the first part of the year as far as broadcast rights. He calls him Hurricane Hocevar, and it's probably.
I've seen Baby Earnhardt too.
He's in the news. He's known as being aggressive and probably sometimes a little too aggressive, but he's young. I think the fans love him.
Kyle Petty loves him too.
I think the fans love him. I love him.
I love him.
He's not out there to make friends.
I think he's what NASCAR needed after a while.
Yeah, he is. He's not. I mean, he's not very apologetic. I think he's getting a little better. Ryan Blaney said that there was an incident. I missed whatever incident happened between the two of them in Atlanta, and he did call up Blaney and called him by name and took responsibility. The big deal this week was the 77 and the 20, the Hocevar with the 20 of Christopher Bell. There was a spot between Seabell and the car below Seabell, and Hocevar tried to fill that hole, and it wasn't there. Carson Hocevar sitting right there in 4th. Carson Hocevar is going to win. Write it down.
Yeah, this is the year he gets it done, probably.
So what do you think? Tell the fans some things I need to know about Carson Hocevar. What do you think about Hurricane Hocevar for Spire? 2 Spire cars in the top 7. Daniel Suarez in 7th, Hocevar in 4th.
Yeah, Suarez, he's another point out. He's also done good this season. Honestly, better than what I thought and what we've recently seen from Suarez. But back on Hocevar, I've seen Baby Earnhardt for him. I think his aggressive style is great. I think it's what NASCAR hasn't really had a standout aggressive driver ever since Kyle Busch left Joe Gibbs.
That's fair.
Which is like, and even when they introduced this Gen 7 car, there was an aggressive driver. Because after about 2021, Kyle Busch stepped back on the aggression, then left Joe Gibbs, and then for about that year without Hocevar, there wasn't really that aggressive driver who freaked the other drivers out of like, watch out for Hocevar in your rear view. No.
Just looking at the top 16 right now, I know we're race 3, but right now, if the playoffs were to start right now,
SVG 16th, and we're coming onto a road course.
You took it right away from me. It's SVG after 2 super speedway races. He's sitting right there, and here's what's scary. For those of you who don't know, Shane Van Gisbergen comes from New Zealand. He's a world-class driver, particularly on road courses. What did he win? 5 road courses last year?
Won 5 of the 6 road course races.
I think Seabell won the other one, Dakota.
Seabell won the Dakota one, but we're coming on Dakota. So
he's by far the favorite to win this week at Coda.
I think Zilch is up there too, but I have like some questions for you on Zilch later.
But Van Gisbergen's starting to figure out the ovals.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can figure
he got what, 10th at Dega last year?
If he can figure those ovals out.
Well, he's starting to get super speedways down.
It's terrifying. He might be the best driver in the world. I know you think about Larson and some other guys.
If he gets ovals down, he
Verstappen,
will be
different guys.
by far the best driver
Not
in the
even,
world.
yeah, not even
Because
close.
did I tell you what I saw from? So like Red Bull Racing posted a video. It was SVG, this pro drifter, and Liam Lawson, an F1 driver, and they all drove this drifter around this like dirt road course. SVG beat both of them by 6 seconds.
Again, like Jeremiah said, this week they're at Coda. Coda is a road course in Austin, Texas. That does F1 run there?
F1 runs it.
F1, so it's a very, very meticulous course. What requires a lot of
The only
technique.
thing is they cut it in half. So F1, like that left they take just past the S's. F1 doesn't do that. They take the longer way around.
But still, would you agree a very technical course? And Van Gisbergen is the favorite, and he's sitting there at 16th in points.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good call, Jer.
Then
funny.
I got more in the points.
Yeah.
Here. So here's what's crazy. So how we've talked about Hendrick and Joe Gibbs being the most dominant teams. Granted, both teams have probably had a slower start, but there is only one Hendrick inside the top 10 in points. The next Hendrick is William Byron in 13th, Larson in 21st. Larson dropped 6 spots, and then Alex Bowman in 32nd. And then there's no JGRs in the top 10. The highest placed JGR is Chase Briscoe at 15th, Hamlin's 27th, Christopher Bell's 31st, and then Gibbs is 33rd. So what are your thoughts on that little stat that I just called out there?
I put a pin in that, and here's why. Each of the 2 tracks that we've been at to this point, Jeremiah, so much of what happens to you is out of your control. Like you can get wadded up in the pack, and something happens 3 or 4 rows in front of you, and you look like an idiot because you drive right into it, right? Or something happens, like what happened to Chase Elliott. He was leading the Daytona 500 with 50 yards to go, and Riley Herb gets in a wreck and wrecks him, from the lead. And around comes the 45 of Reddick, and he wins the race, and Chase finishes literally backwards in 4th.
A lot of guys finish backwards.
And it's the same deal at Atlanta. Atlanta's just a smaller, faster, more condensed version of Daytona and Talladega. So when we talk about the drafting tracks, it's Talladega, Daytona, and Atlanta now. And again, so the points, while they're interesting and while I love it that they're points based now. The points, it's not about wins and that you don't have highlights or you don't have people already playing for the postseason. You've got another track this week that is a little bit of an outlier in that it's a road, like a true road circuit.
Yeah, the first true oval we get is Homestead.
That's my point. So I think once you get past this weekend at Coda in Austin, once you get, let's say the next 3 weeks, so they go to Phoenix, they go to Vegas, they go to Darlington, maybe let's just say the end of March, Martinsville. I think at that point there, Jeremiah, we'll have a lot better picture
a little bit more of an understanding
of who's good, because you have Phoenix, it's a mile track, right? Which is not a short track, but it's not an intermediate, right? You got Vegas, 1.5 mile track, great racing there. Darlington, the Lady in Black, infamous Darlington, and Martinsville, the paperclip, right? The little short track that just always comes through. So I'm going to hold judgment, not to not answer your question, but I just think we've not been to a track yet where we really have a driver who is in control of their own fate. And this week coming up to the Duramax Texas Grand Prix, it'll be kind of similar, especially if Van Gisbergen does what we think he's going to do. What do you think about the points? Do you agree? What do you think about the variety of tracks so far? What are your thoughts? Because you're a big NASCAR guy. What do you think?
I like it. I'm just not sure on starting off the year at back-to-back super speedways. I don't know. Just go from Daytona to maybe Homestead, flip the Homestead and Coda race, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that way we go from Daytona to Homestead, kind of keep them in Florida, over to Phoenix, then Dakota. So
you got to be south for the weather, right? I agree. I do like that we don't go to Daytona, and then we're out west for a month. The West Coast swing, they say, because remember, all these shops are located in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. So the hauler and the team have to go get their items in Charlotte, all of them, can't forget anything, go out west, do the race, and halfway meet with the car you need for the next track, right? And dump the car you just used. So it's just a lot of back and forth.
Could be like what they did last year. They went from Michigan to they went from
that made
Nashville.
no sense.
They went from Nashville to Michigan to Mexico, then to Pocono.
Why you couldn't schedule that whether at Texas Motor Speedway or COTA or Phoenix, somewhere already down that way. That was unbelievable. But yeah, Jerry, I'm gonna withhold judgment. I think once we get to April, right after the Easter break, we're gonna be able to look at those points and be like, okay, these guys are legit. Right now, there's been a little bit of element of luck to it. I know that might sound cold and callous, but there's been a little bit of luck to it. So we'll see.
And then Zilich is 36th in points right now, with a finish of 33rd and 30th. Yeah. So,
not indicative of his caliber, Yeah, he's behind guys in points, all due respect, but he's behind guys like Austin Dillon, Cole
Alex
Custer,
Bowman.
Eric Jones, Cody Ware,
Alex Bowman.
Alex Bowman, Ricky Stenhouse. These are guys that are in front of him. Explain, for those who may not know, explain who Connor Zilich is and why this kid is literally one of one.
Well, if you did not pay attention to either our first couple episodes or just didn't pay attention to motorsport racing at all, Connor Zilich dominated the second half of the Xfinity, what is now the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Dominated the second half of that season last season, winning 10 races for Junior Motorsports in the 88, and then gets called up to the Cup Series, and then Dale Jr., so that he can get into that ride. SVG moves to the 97, what was the 99, and then Zilich moves up into his former owner's number, the 88, and Zilich, with a slow start, having only 14 points, and as I just said, 30th and 33rd finish, which is very unusual at those tracks for Zilich.
Caught up in 2 wrecks. That finish this day, not of his doing. In both those races, was mixing it up in the top 10 for quite a bit. But just got wrecked out, unfortunately. I think Zilich wins the race. I think he gets one.
Like at a Pocono, maybe.
Yeah. He's just or a road course. He's gonna give SVG everything he wants. But Zilich is, if you don't know, look him up. He will be a bona fide superstar. Already is. Won 10 races last year. Breakingly didn't win the championship. Had they had the point system this year, he'd have the championship.
He would have been champion by playoff start.
Yeah, 2 or 3 to go at the most, or least rather. He'd have had it locked
now,
up.
Are they doing the chase for all series or just the Cup?
All series. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's different lengths, as far as races and different drivers that get in. I think it's 12 in the O'Reillys and maybe even less.
I think it's 10.
10 in the Craftsman. I think you're right. But yeah, the format is the same as they come up through the ranks. But yeah, Zilich, just some bad luck, but he's gonna win championships. He's gonna win races. Chevy's got him locked up. Trackhouse, his team has him locked up. It's exciting, man. I see you have on here Sheldon Creed. Explain to our friends who Sheldon Creed is and why it's such a big deal that he won.
So, yes, Sheldon Creed probably, what would you say? Probably been in Xfinity for how long now?
Several years.
Here, hold on.
While you're looking that up, he's finished second. Or imagine this, he's finished second, so as the bridesmaid. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Always the bride, first man, never the groom. He's finished second, Jeremiah, 15 times is what I heard on the post race broadcast. So again,
according to ESPN, he made his Xfinity debut back in 2017 at Mid Ohio.
So 9 years, right? Race for Joe Gibbs. Now races for the Haas Automotion team for Ford. So, what happened to Sheldon Creed this week, Jared? What'd he do?
Sheldon Creed finally got his first ever career win
Got him a dub.
after getting in a really crazy finish. Um has probably been in the Xfinity full time since 2022. It looks like. No, I'm looking at his driver stats here, but this is by the career in 2022. So his first full season had 4 top 5s, 13 top 10s. 2023, he had 7 top 5s, 15 top 10s. 2024 had 16 top 5s, 23 top 10s, 2 poles. Then in 2025 had 8 top 5s and 16 top 10s. So, and he finally got his first win after finishing second so many times.
Yeah, at least 15 is what the broadcast said. And we actually inadvertently met Sheldon Creed at Nashville Super Speedway. Remember, he was just out, just walking around the grounds, and just a super. He just seems like a good guy. So happy for him. Happy for his team. Happy, fun. I think now that he's got that first one behind him, I mean, you don't finish second 15 times and have all those stats you talked about just by accident. I think now that he's got that behind him, I think he's a dark horse to watch out for in the now O'Reilly's formerly Xfinity series.
That reminds me too, the rookie in O'Reilly, Rajah Caruth, currently second
Yeah.
in the points, which I love as a Caruth fan. I'm gonna have to be that 88 car fan because he only gets half the races. What do you think about the truck rookie shooting up into number 2 behind only Austin Hill in the truck series? Or oh my goodness, O'Reilly series.
Yeah. I think Gio Ruggiero is going to be a problem. He's in that Tricon, which is basically the Joe Gibbs feeder team in the truck. I just think he's going to be a massive problem. He's already got 2 races right this year, two
he's
top
a really
10s,
good,
or two top 5s.
really good drafting track driver. Remember, he won at Dega.
Yeah,
And with Tony being out for the whole year, I'm a Ruggiero fan this year.
Yeah. And how about this? Ram back in the trucks this year. They've got a guy, Brandon Butterbean McQueen in 6th. So attaboy for Dodge and for Ram. But I just think, Gio is a part of that team that Corey Haim was a part of last year, who Corey Haim won. Did he win like 11 races last year?
Broke the Truck Series
Broke
record.
the Truck Series record, won the championship. I mean, in the championship race, took up 7 wide. Remember that? And won the whole thing. So he's part of that team. Just an up and coming star. Jared, I know you're big on him. You probably know more than I do. Kid was born in 2006, so he's only he'll be 20 years old in late August.
Yeah, Ari has that first career win too.
His average start is in the top 10, 9.5. His average finish, listen to this, this is insane. I know we're only 2 races in, but his average finish is 2.5
this season.
This season. So, yeah, he's gonna be a big problem.
His average finish last season in the Truck Series. Last year was his first season ever in NASCAR. Had an average finish at 12.4 as a rookie.
Yeah, here's what's great too. Stuart Friesen, racing for his own team, had a terrible accident last year, car wreck, I think, something, and wasn't able to finish the year.
In another race.
So Honeycutt did, who's now in the 11. We talked about him, the ride that Haim vacated. He's 5th in the points. So that's good to see Friesen there in 5th. I think for the most part, Jared, I think these top 10, top 12 probably aren't going to change a whole lot this year. You've got Chandler Smith in order, Gio Ruggiero, Ben Rhodes, Tom Majeski.
Part-time, but I wouldn't be surprised if he stays up there, though.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, if you're doing well, it just takes one person to say, we'll jump on the hood of that truck. And you don't ever know. You got Ankrum there, you've got Eckes there, you've got, I know Haim, he's got a truck racing this year, so he's not eligible. You got a couple more Ram guys, and Daniel Dye and Justin Haley. So the truck series, Jer, again, I'm asking you a lot of questions. For those that might just think, oh, it's just a truck series, I'll say it, and then I want to hear what you think about the truck series. We go to the Talladega race every year, and the truck series, without question, is my favorite race.
Yes, like Dad just said, at some of these tracks, especially the drafting tracks, the truck series is sometimes the best race. I know some people might think, but the Cup Series is the best race. It's the best stock car drivers in the world. But it's just something about watching the truck race that just makes it a whole lot better, it feels like.
Yeah, They're shorter, and you got young drivers who will do fun things for us to watch.
Yeah, just sometimes the inexperience these guys have just makes it the best race
Yeah,
when they're
that's so
moving
true.
parking lot.
It's fun for the fans.
Unless it's Stuart Friesen or like Ben Rhodes, who's been in the truck series for God knows how
Yeah,
long at this point.
Brandon Finger, those guys. Thor Sport. They're where they're going to be this year with Ben Rhodes, Tom Majeski.
Thor's had the same team for about what 9 years?
Thor Sports is probably one of those Hendrick, Gibbs, Penske,
I
very
think they're
much.
at Forest, so they're basically your Penske, but have the
They
same
are.
roster ever since 2023.
In the trucks, it's Tricon, it's Thor Sports.
Really, I guess Nice is the only Chevy that really sticks out in truck, but
Yeah.
it's mainly your Toyotas and your Fords
Yeah.
down
And
there.
now, what's interesting is you've got Colleague with Ram. So Colleague has some truck experience. They have a lot of now O'Reilly's, and they have a couple guys in the Cup with Ty Dillon
They have
and
Cup winners.
AJ. Yeah, and AJ Allmendinger, proven Cup winners, especially in Allgaier, Allmendinger, AJ Allmendinger in the 16. So those are kind of your heavy hitters. Um,
Might just blow up your
I
iPhone
have
screen on your
no
computer.
clue. Well, I am not technologically savvy. That's why I have a
Apple
son.
just threw up
Oh,
his phone on his
another
screen.
this has nothing to do with sports, but another life update. Somebody got their permit.
Yeah, my permit
Yeah.
finally came today.
Oh,
The card.
you got the hard copy?
Yeah, the hard copy came
He's
today.
legit, folks.
Yeah.
So if you live in Michigan, stay off the road.
Yep. Especially during the night.
But I love NASCAR. Again, Roger Curry sitting there second in points. That's like the all-star car for junior motorsports, isn't it? He's going to be sharing it with guys like
Yeah,
Chase.
so Raja gets the first half of the season, and then that second half is going to be split by the 4 Hendrick drivers.
Can I just be selfish? I would love to see him do really well and just find a way to race a full season. Surely that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hendrick boys get to come down and play some, which how would you imagine? How would you like to be somebody else in the field? And you're looking at Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, William Byron.
Also, right now you don't want to see Elliott.
Yeah, whether Bowman, who cares?
He'll wreck out.
But
3 out of 4 I'd be worried about.
But so, Jared, this week we, like you said, we're back at the COTA Circuit of the Americas.
Snooze fest this weekend.
I don't think so.
SVG gets in the lead.
Now that could make it a snooze fest, but it's a great little track. I think both of us agree on our pick for COTA.
SVG.
Who's your dark horse? Like, who do you think that guy is that could maybe surprise everybody on this particular road course? Who do you think? Do you have any? I think we agree both on Zilich.
Should I throw? He hasn't really done much of road courses recently, ever since they took the Indy road course off the track or off the circuit. But Allmendinger?
Yes, 100%, without fail.
I mean, he hasn't done much ever since they took Indy road course off the.
Better watch out for the
dinger
dinger on the road
still
course.
Watch out for Dinger, because he can still get a top 15 finish at different road courses.
Oh, yeah.
He does it at Sonoma.
Yeah, absolutely. There are guys that love road racing, and there are guys that hate it. Chase Elliott will be very good there. He's excellent on the road courses.
Hates road course racing.
Did you hear when he still out of the car? He goes, "I'll go out next week and try not to wreck or something, or try not to do whatever."
That's the bad thing.
He's not excited about it.
He has an average finish of 29th at road courses, which as a Bubba fan is terrible, but also relatable because I cannot drive road courses.
It was so funny. Like, as soon as he got out of the car at Atlanta, he was like, "Well, crap." Like, and Hocevar said the same thing. He's like, "I'm gonna try not to wreck the field." But yeah, I think those sleepers, Jared. It's funny. I could not agree anymore. I think without question, SVG's got to be the favorite. Anything can happen. Look, we know that, folks. But Zilich, great on the road courses. The road course is kind of
Cody Ware could win a race.
The road course is kind of like a super speedway in a way because it allows guys with different skill sets to succeed. Right? It's not just an oval. Chase will be good there. Larson will be there. Last year, the 20 of Bell won the race. But I do think your list is much shorter than it would be at your typical mile and a half,
Because
mile.
your top three road course drivers could probably be what? Dinger, G, um,
In order, it's SVG way up here, and then way
yeah, everybody
way
else.
down is kind of everybody else, and they know it. You know, what's funny is like SVG won't even allow like the TVs to show like his foot camera because he didn't want the other teams to look at it and kind of see what his secret is with how he does the clutch brake thing. Guys think they have it figured out, but they
I've seen it, but it's weird. With like his right foot, he's touching the gas and the clutch at the same time while working the brake with his left foot. It's so
yeah,
weird.
he's unbelievable. It's NASCAR.
Yep. So we're on to the NBA.
The only thing I know is this last night, a really really interesting game just near kind of near where we live. At Little Caesars Arena, the Pistons played the Spurs. I think the Pistons have. Let me pull this up here.
Pistons lost that, but a lot of people are saying that Bad Boys are back
They're
with
back.
this team.
They're back. The Pistons still one game out, second best record in the league, 42-14. Spurs third best record in the league, 41-16. And here's what's crazy: the Spurs have won 9 in a row. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They played a team in the Pistons who are now, of course, they've lost 1 in a row, but they're 8-2 in their last 10. They're still chasing Oklahoma City, who's 44-14. The Pistons are
But
one game back.
OKC,
They're hurt, and they've won 2 in a row, but they're 6-4 in their last 10. And if I remember correctly, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, OKC comes to Detroit. So you're gonna get a chance to see the top 2 teams in the league play one another. But the Spurs came into LCA and won. But I do like what you said about the Bad Boy Pistons. I know it'll never be like it was in the early '90s. It's a different era of basketball, but they carry that.
well, in front of the like Spurs bench, K just shoved Stephen
Yeah,
Castle.
they carry that mantra, don't they? You're not going to run them over, and they represent the city, don't they? Blue
Mm-hmm.
collar, hard workers. You know, Detroit loves the Pistons, right? And now that they're good again, it's a really
It's
cool
crazy
mix.
because 3 years ago, with roughly the same team, this team was only had less than 10 wins by this point in the year.
What do you think the difference is?
Just Bickerstaff,
Yes,
K putting in the work.
Bickerstaff and Cade is the superstar already. He's not becoming one. He is one.
Probably the second best American player behind Dan.
Probably should win. You could make an extremely well built case on why Cade should be the MVP. When you watch him play live, it's like he's playing chess, but checkers. Unbelievable watching that dude play. Again, we've been to LCA while the Pistons are playing. That place is hopping. Detroit loves them. Detroit loves everything about them.
Gates fadeaway is a thing of beauty.
And you might could tell me, is their nucleus young? Is their nucleus locked up as far as contracts? Like
I think it is.
how long can this team be good?
I think they got the money. Detroit has the money.
I like what you have here. Detroit's not looking back, and no,
Mm-mm.
you're right. They're not. Like you said, OKC is stumbling a little bit, 6-4 in their last 10. You said they've
I already
got
have
some.
14 losses. That's how much they had last year.
What kind of injuries? You mentioned injuries. What kind of injuries is
Um,
OKC looking at?
Let me look. Shea has been with a foot. So yeah, as of February 19th, so 5 days ago, AJ Mitchell, a good player on their bench, is out for at least one more week with an abdominal strain. SGA with an abdomen will miss another week.
Hmm.
Jalen Williams with a hamstring is scheduled to be reevaluated next week. And then they have a center, Thomas Sorber, out with a torn ACL. But right there, that's probably 3 of their top 6, top 8 players in the whole building.
Mm-hmm.
Because Shea's your starter, Williams is a starter, Mitchell's a solid piece off the bench. So losing guys like that has been hurting them. I think guys like Chet have also been in and out of the roster as well. So just the people OKC does not need to have injuries right now are the people getting injured.
I guess if you're gonna have it happen, you want it to happen now.
And the Spurs, they're clawing right now.
They are. Again, they're by far the hottest team in the league. We've got the streak up here on ESPN.com. They've won 9 in a row. So before this, before winning 9 in a row, they were 32-16. Is my math right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're 41-16. In their last 10, they are 9-1. And to come into Detroit and win is saying something. Potential NBA Finals preview.
The Spurs Pistons, yeah,
Possible.
as of right now, the Spurs are my championship pick.
All right, for those like me who don't know, Wembanyama is obvious. He's from France. He's a world talent. Everybody knows who he is. What makes the Spurs special besides Wembanyama?
Their teamwork overall. They lost Jeremy Sochan, which was he was just a spark for them, but they still got De'Aaron Fox. They still got Stephen Castle. Stephen Castle is a defensive monster.
Did he play at Florida?
UConn.
UConn, that's right.
He won
that's
Rookie
right,
of the Year
yeah.
the other year, giving I think UConn was the first school in basketball in history to have NBA and WNBA Rookie of the Year with him and Paige Beckers. But yeah, they got Dylan Harper off the bench, Stephen Castle. They still got Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, so they still got some core pieces in there.
2 Kentucky boys
from a couple years ago, and then they have crap. Overall, they're just a good team.
Yeah. Yeah, to your point, Jer. Harrison Barnes, Stephen Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Keldon Johnson.
Julian Champagne. He's been good for them this year.
Yeah, Fournette out of Ain't. So yeah.
And then Luke Cornett as well. He's a solid piece. So just all around as a team, Carter Bryant, a young star. Bismack Biyombo, he can be a solid backup center for you. So just a really good put together team right now in San Antonio. And then
it's neat seeing the Spurs and the Pistons good again because Jeremiah, you weren't born, but in the early 2000s, in the early 2000s, 03, 04, 05, it kind of seemed like in the finals every year, especially 04, 05 in there, it was always Spurs Pistons. When you had Tayshaun and Chauncey and Rip and Sheed and Big Ben and those guys, and the Spurs, they had Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Parker and those guys. So it's just interesting that those two teams in particular are I'll say back, because for a while they weren't very good. Pop's health was declining and deteriorating. Spurs have always been a proud organization, so it's good to see those guys and those teams doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking here. I want to find Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, so that's what I have on there.
Yeah.
Ever since acquiring Harden on February 5th,
Look at here.
on the 22nd to when they played OKC, the Cavs lost their first game since acquiring James Harden.
8-2 in their last 10. Right.
Yeah, and those last what 9 are with Harden. So what do you think on Cleveland with the move of picking up Harden and then losing their first game 2.5 weeks after acquiring him?
I think I'm trying to pull up. Let me just go back here. The thing you have to kind of struggle with a little bit if you're Cleveland, as far as in their division, is you're in the same division as Detroit. But right now you're the 4 seed, right? Like you said, you've lost 1 in a row. If you can say 1 in a row, but you're 8-2 in your last 10, and you picked up Harden. Harden's a proven winner. He may not be the James Harden of 3-4 years ago or longer, but he's still James Harden.
And then the Knicks are slowing, so you could potentially sneak into these playoffs. And if you play hot enough, unless Uncle B cannot join tonight, he just texted me. So if you want to go ahead and knock out the last little bit together, we can.
All right, everybody, boo Uncle B. All right. But yeah, they're 7 games back of Detroit. So Detroit, 7 games can slip away if you're not careful. One injury, anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see those two teams. Milwaukee's out of it, Chicago's out of it, Indiana, the Pacers are way out of it. But right now, Ray or Jeremiah, to your point, they're the 4 seed, and you got to see with, like you said, the way the Knicks are playing. The Knicks are 37-21, Cleveland's 36-22, so there's one game there. So it's not inconceivable even to get that 2 seed. The Celtics are 37-19, Cleveland's 36-22. So with Harden, I think Cleveland's a team we need to watch out for.
They could potentially sneak away with that.
I think they're the team. I don't know if they can catch Detroit. Selfishly, I certainly hope they can't.
I don't think anyone can catch Detroit as of right now. They've only lost 7 in Detroit too.
Yeah. What makes this Cleveland team so special? I know they picked, the big piece everybody's going to talk about, is picking up James Harden. But as you look at their team and how they're constructed and coaching, what strikes you about this team? Is it just a lift from Harden? Or what do you think this team has found? Do you think Harden just brought some veteran leadership? Like, what do you think about this team that's kind of got your attention right now?
I think Harden did bring the veteran leadership, but they got Donovan Mitchell, who's a premier player. They got Keon Ellis, who can be an offensive threat at times. They got Evan Mobley, who is always in DPOY talks and always in those talks for best defensive player in the league. They got Jalen Tyson, who's young and has made a few splashes this season. And then they got Jared Allen, a solid center. He's not big, but he is a strong and pretty solid defensive player. So I think
and they're young.
They are a young
They're
team.
young. Looking at this, they're young.
So it's just a good all around team, and I think Harden was that little push that this team needed. Because all respect to Darius Garland, but Garland was not doing what they needed him to do there before they traded him off.
Yeah, good for hopefully they don't catch Detroit. I don't see them catching Detroit, but that the rest of the East is kind of up for grabs. Let's look at the conference here.
I mean,
you've got 3 teams within 6 games, 4 teams within 7 games.
If the Hornets stay hot like they've been, of course, it's dialed down a little bit, but
they're 7-3
Hornets can still
7-3 in their last 10.
Probably get deeper into the play-in.
Right now, they're that last team in the playoff is the 10 seed, the play-in, that game and a half up on the Bucks.
And then another team I want to draw your attention to is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Right.
Outside of All-Star, and I think has dropped under 40 0 times since coming out of the All-Star break. What do you think on coming out of All-Star and just the Timberwolves probably being one of the better teams, and then Anthony Edwards probably being best player in the world?
Yeah, you have to forgive my ignorance, but was it last year or the year before they were in the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah.
And I think Anthony Edwards is that dude. I think he's a stud. He's only 24 years old. 6'4" out of Georgia. I just think he's special, and there's just kind of something about the T-Wolves, anyways, where they're always there. So I think you have to give a lot of credit to however their roster is built and their GM and their front office and different things. But you look, it's a sneaky team. You still got Mike Conley, veteran leadership, Dante Vincenzo. Of course, as you mentioned, Anthony Edwards. You've got Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle. So they've got some pieces, right, to do some really, really special things. So not knowing a ton about Minnesota, I mean, it's not like, they're coming. It's not like they're super surprised. But last year, they're was the Western Conference Finals appearance. Right now they're in the Northwest standings. They're 9 games out of first place. They're only a game behind Denver for second place. 35-23, so sitting 12 games over 500. So I think Minnesota is a team to watch as you get closer to this playoff run here coming up this summer.
Yeah, and he plays with a lot of confidence too when he's out there.
Should.
And all their guys, Naz Reid just came off a 32-point performance. Rudy Gobert is always in there with defensive talks, and then Ant by himself basically was able to knock off Luka and LeBron in the playoffs. So
here's what's interesting, Jerry. Sorry to interrupt you. Is you have in the Western Conference seeds 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's Houston, Denver, the Lakers, and the T-Wolves, all separated by 1 game. To your point, Jeremiah, Minnesota's only one game out of third in their conference.
And then no one's probably catching San Antonio.
No, I think San Antonio and OKC are in an echelon of their own for sure. That three through really seven. Phoenix sneaking in there 8 games over 500, only 11 out.
Don't count out Phoenix.
So it's a log jam. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams within 3 games of each other. Man, how about that? The Portland Trailblazers right now would be in the playoff. They'd be in the play-in games, but they've been in the playoffs. So that's pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky won.
Oh, they did.
Thank you, Jesus. Yeah.
Just barely too, probably.
Nah, win's a win. We'll take it.
So, let's see, what else do we
Hope
have
lives
for
to fight another
NBA?
day.
And then, the potential anti-tanking rule that Adam Silver has apparently proposed with what teams have been doing with this loaded draft class, but NBA possibly implementing a anti-tanking rule this season.
It could not be true, but I've heard like one of the things on the table is like a tournament. The drafting, is that for the draft order? Is that correct?
I wouldn't see they're adding a different tournament. That's just basically adding another.
You have all the bad teams play to see who's the worst. That doesn't take care of the tanking. So that answered my question.
That's not going to help with anything.
But you're the commissioner for a day, Jeremiah. What do you do to stop tanking? How do you prove it? Tanking, for those who don't know, is you just lose games to improve your draft stock. Because we talked about this a couple weeks ago on this show. This draft class is loaded. Jeremiah, who are some of the studs that'll be coming out this year out of obviously college basketball into the draft? Who are some of these studs that these teams are tanking for?
Well, another thing, this draft class has a lot of freshmen. Well, you got guys like you got Cameron Boozer coming out of this draft. You got DeBansta, you got Peterson, and just a JT Toppin. You got probably one of the best draft classes we've seen.
Right?
Yeah. You got one of the best draft classes since what, I don't know, 03 maybe.
It's a good. I don't know if there's been one this deep as far as vying for that first place in as long as I can remember. Usually it seems like there might be a couple guys, but you're what, 6 or 7, 8 deep.
Mm-hmm.
As far as guys who
you're having like 4 or 5 different names being tossed around.
Legitimately could be the first round pick, and they're all just kind of neck and neck. So it just kind of be determined, by what those guys need. Right now Sacramento, they lost like 16 in a row or something. They finally got off the schneid
against the Grizzlies too.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but wasn't it in Memphis too?
Yeah.
But right now, Sacramento would have that, based on record, worst record in the league, they'd have that first pick. Now, I know they do the lottery and all things, but just based on record, the Kings have the worst record in the league at 13-46.
Oh, I'm trying to do double duty. I'm trying to see if I can get the second script out right now. Let's see. You also got, right now you got the rewards. I'll list off a few names that I found here that are currently ineligible for any rewards list.
So what makes them ineligible for an award?
So probably one of the best things Adam Silver has done since being NBA commissioner was he implemented this rule called a 65 game rule. If you miss what's 82 minus 65? I'm not good at math. So if you miss 17 games in a season, this was to stop load management, which was an issue in the NBA a couple years ago. If you miss 17 games, you are ineligible for any reward. This goes to everyone. The names I will list are ineligible for all NBA, all defense, MVP, MIP, like 6 man of the year. Any NBA reward you can think of, these people are no longer eligible for it. They can no longer win this award. LeBron, Giannis, Embiid, and Curry are probably the 4 bigger names out of this one, and then these are some names that are right now like on the bubble. So I think for Jokic, if he misses one more, he becomes ineligible, which will reopen the MVP case. If I think if Wemby misses 2 or 3 more, he's done, and then if SGA misses 2 more, he's done. So those are names that are currently on the bubble, and to they can still win a reward, but if they miss, I think 4 games max, those three will not be able to win any type of reward, no matter what type of season they have.
What a list! It's interesting. Wimby's on that list. Does he have injury this year?
I think I can't remember what it was, but there's one injury. He's had one injury that's taken him on and off of the list in I think December and
Well,
January.
LeBron. I know he's older, but former MVP Giannis. All these guys are former MVPs, correct? Except for Wimby.
Yeah, all of them are former MVPs except for Wemby.
But I love that rule. Load management. What is that?
So, well, back in like I think it was about 2020, 2021, that those seasons, stars would just sit out games being completely healthy, and fans were a little upset. They were like, I saved up money for my kid to go see, like, I'll use Kawhi for example here because Kawhi probably did the most out of anyone. I saved up so much money so my kid could go see Kawhi Leonard play, but turns out Kawhi's load managing. Adam Silver, he implemented this rule, and all of a sudden, all these stars are now playing in all these games, and a lot of fans were like, it's a little weird how Adam Silver implements this rule, and everyone's apparently playing all of a sudden.
Yeah, imagine that.
I think it was a great move by Silver. Of course, he has not had the best of things said about him, but I think that's everything, at least we have, for the NBA. If you want to go through and look at scores for right now.
Yeah, I was just looking here. Jared stopped me. Jared, you're the NBA expert. I'm just here to be with you. You have the Sixers playing the Pacers. Sixers lead 121-93. You have the Hawks leading the Wizards 93-62. You have the Mavericks leading the Nets 93-83. You have the Thunder by 20 over the Raptors right now, 88-68. The Cavaliers are leading the Knicks by 9 right now, 71-62.
We were just talking about those two teams now.
Yeah, there's that game right there. So this has big. The Cavaliers are by 1 game back of the Knicks in the seeding as it goes. You have Hornets by 1 over the Bulls.
Did you see what LaMelo did in their last game against the Wizards?
Mm-mm.
He had 37 points, 10 3-pointers made, which is, I think that's 4 shy of the NBA record for most points, for most threes in a game. I think the record is 14 right now.
You've got the Bucks by 5 over the Heat at halftime. You've got the Pelicans. How about that? By 7 over the Warriors at the half.
Well, who do the Wizards really have?
Yeah.
Or not the Wizards, the Warriors.
Right.
With Curry out, have you seen like how terrible they are with Curry out now on the floor?
Santos is your leading scorer for Golden State, 7.7 rebounds at the half. Suns by 2 right now, early in the first, 12-10. Still yet to tip. Timberwolves at Trailblazers. That's a very late tip for us. 10 o'clock p.m. on Peacock. And then 10:30. Magic and East Coast team going out west to play the Lakers.
Could you imagine being a Magic guard, like your body? It's like 12:30 to your body, and you're guarding
until 12:30, 1 o'clock. Yeah.
You're guarding Luka in the fourth quarter.
Sleeping. Yeah. So that's what's going on tonight in the NBA.
Prime time on Saturday, Lakers Warriors. Yeah. Seats will be filled for that one. And then, do you want to look at that? What ESPN did, the 12-man USA roster.
Yeah.
See what they predicted here.
So for those who are on ESPN.com, I don't want to commit plagiarism. They've predicted a 12-man USA roster for the 2028 Summer Olympics. I was also looking at some of the top headlines. You've got the Blazers Sharp, injured, going to be reevaluated, so he's out at least 4 to 6 weeks. The Bulls Simmons still dealing with injury. The Atlanta Hawks are trying to get Young back for the first time since the trade. And some legal things, grand jury with Beverly, some surgery. It looked like the Jazz's Nurkic got like his nose bit off or something. That was gross. Not sure what happened there.
Oh, my.
So, yeah, Jared,
the 2028 Okay, so this is who ESPN has. And their age at the time the Olympics will occur. Um, they have Cooper Flag, obviously. He will be 21 years old at the time,
Goodness.
and probably will argue be probably one of the best players in the world at that time if he goes how we think he'll go. Con Knipple, 22. Jalen Duran, 24. Amin Thompson, 25. Scotty Barnes, 26. Kate Cunningham, 26. Anthony Edwards, 26. Chet Holmgren, 26. Jalen Williams, the Thunder guard, 27. Tyrese Halliburton, 28. And then Bam Adebayo, who will be 30. Jason Tatum, who will also be 30. And then they say Devin Booker and Evan Mobley could possibly fill in for any of those guys on there. So what do you think about those 14 that I named?
For me, there are two glaring names missing, and I know it's because of Father Time, but LeBron James and Steph Curry.
And Kevin Durant, but they'll both be
And
what?
KD, yeah.
40?
They'll be
Those
older.
three will be at that
Eh,
time? They'll
Yeah,
be retired by that time, probably.
probably. You can only hope. So, again, it's, yeah. Donovan or is Edwards on there?
Yeah, Ant's on there. He'll
Okay,
be
there he is.
26
Okay, I
at the
see him.
time.
I see him.
He'll probably be.
Two Pistons on there.
I think he'll be. Ant. I think he'll probably be best player in the world at that time.
Yeah. And again, some of you are wondering about Wemby. Well, obviously he's
French.
Embiid, I think also French. Giannis.
Embiid
Greek.
will be old at that time too.
Jokic plays for
Serbia.
I think. But so these are the U.S. team.
What's crazy to me is that Cooper Flag will be 21.
Yeah, in 2 years. But yeah, that's what kind of Tyrese Maxey, perhaps an overlook. You don't see. I think we're seeing a changing of the guard in the NBA now. I think the next 2 or 3 years are going to be crucial because you do have guys who have been superstars for a decade or more that are just getting older. LeBron probably doesn't have 3 or 4 years left. He's 41 years old. Curry, Father Time is undefeated with also with Durant.
You want to know what's crazy? I saw a video about Curry. This dude put up Curry's stats and his current stats. Curry has the same stats he had in his 2017 season right now.
Wow. That's
And he's 37.
He's giving Father Time a run for his money, isn't he?
So,
But yeah, I do think we're seeing a changing of the guard. Again, you notice no SJ on there because he'll play for Team Canada. But these guys are these are your stars of the present certainly, but also the future. The oldest guy is what 30.
Jason Tatum.
So 21 to 30, and you only got 2 30-year-olds. It's crazy to think Bam Adebayo is already 30. Tatum not on there. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's because he's a little older. JT. Banchero, he could also, that's a name that they're talking about, could also be on there. Who knows? But this is fun just to kind of think about. The one I don't think should be on there, and with all due respect, is that Knipple. How do you pronounce it? The rookie out of Duke. Not seen enough out of him yet, but again, they're projecting, so I get it. But I do think I would give Booker a bump over him. I think I'd give Maxey a bump over him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd definitely give Tatum a bump over him. But again, they're thinking towards the future. Apparently the way this kid's playing in Charlotte, he's got Charlotte in the playoff right now, and on kind of a run.
I think the start of the season he had too is still boosting him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's dialed back a little bit, but every now and then he'll drop a 33, 34-point game. All right. I think that's all we have for the NBA. So you want to head on to college basketball? Try to get what we can right now.
I'll give you a few more minutes.
All right.
So let's tonight we'll look at some games while Jared's pulling up whatever he wants to share about next.
All right. New rankings probably to start it all off. New number one. That number one has moved between 3 different teams now. But the new number one after beating the Wolverines, I told Raymond this earlier today. All respect to Michigan, but I will be very upset if Michigan wins the national championship. The reason I'm saying that is because they spent like what $20 million on this basketball roster.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing Ohio State did in football a couple years ago, and just what the Big Ten's been doing in football is in just in every sport. They're buying these national championships. Of course, that's the way it's going in
Mm-hmm.
college sports,
Yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah.
Big Ten is showing it out of any of the other out of all the other people because Nick Saban said the reason Big Ten's been so good recently is because you'd have to pay people to go to the north to
Mm-hmm.
go to the north. Um, that's that's why I told Raymond earlier today. If Michigan, of course, with him being a Michigan fan, he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "It's ruining college sports. It's showing we can now buy our way to national titles. We don't have to do what Duke and Arizona did and recruit our guys. Granted, those schools probably did have to spend money because that's just what you have to do nowadays. But the new, I also have a little bit about Darren Peterson I want to talk to you about. Duke is now number one. Uh, Number two, Arizona. Number three, Michigan. I'm going to kind of quick fire these. Number four, Iowa State. Number five, Houston. Number six, UConn. Number seven, Florida. Number eight, Purdue. Number nine, Gonzaga. Number 10, Illinois. Number 11, Virginia. Number 12, Nebraska. Number 13, Michigan State. Number
Ooh.
14, Kansas. Number 15, St. John's. Number 16, Texas Tech. Number 17, Alabama. Number 18, North Carolina. They've been without Caleb Wilson recently, so they're slipping. Number 19, BYU. They've also slipped a little bit. Number 20, Arkansas. Number 21, undefeated Miami, Ohio. Number 22, Tennessee. Number 23, St. Louis. They're down by like 18 to Dayton last time I looked at their score. Number 24, Louisville. The number 25 is Vanderbilt. Other schools that are receiving votes consist of Wisconsin, St. Mary's, and Villanova.
Yeah.
So do you have
Uh,
any problem with that
I,
top
do, I
25?
don't. In my mind, I think those top three teams for sure are in just a completely different league by themselves. Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Ohio State, sneaky good. Houston's always great with Kelvin Sampson. UConn is going to be good. But I mean, I know you said what you said about Michigan, but I mean, you might have seen a potential national championship preview Saturday night in Washington D.C. in the game between Michigan and Duke. A close game, hard fought game, exactly what you want to see. Weird seeing it this late in the season. You know, two teams beating up on each other like that. I want to go to Kansas for a moment. Uh, all the talk, there's some talk, if you will. Let me go back one more screen. Excuse me. About Peterson and his longevity and he's had the flu and apparently missed some things and I like what he said. He's like I block out the outside noise.
Because yeah, apparently Darren Peterson he's missed almost half the games that Kansas has played, and talent wise, he's best player in the country without a doubt. Stephen A. probably said it best. Talent wise, he's the best player, but it's the injuries that he's apparently having. It's him getting the flu just before tip off, and then apparently he at one game he looked over to Bill Self and asked for a sub. So was and all these recent actions I have mentioned has hurt his draft stock. In ESPN's latest rankings of top 10 players, they dropped Peterson from number one down to number nine because
Yeah,
they just don't know if you can trust
yeah,
him.
and he's not even leading his team in scoring right now. Badinga is leading the team there forward with 14.2, not leading them in assists, not leading them in field goal percentage. But what's amazing about Kansas is they started going on this run early in the year when they played Iowa State. Not sure the date on that game, but when they played Iowa State, beat them. At the time they were ranked two, and went on a run. I mean, beat BYU, beat Texas Tech, beat Arizona. But the last three games, four games for me, are have me worried about the Jayhawks a little bit. Here's why I say that: you beat Arizona, All right, granted it's at home. You go on the road and you lose big time, 74-56 to Iowa State. You beat Oklahoma State. You're supposed to, right? But then you lose at home big time, 84-68 to Cincinnati. Okay. Then you come back and beat Houston 69-56. So, Jared, what do you think about that? What I'm going to call inconsistency. Beat Arizona. No shame in losing to Iowa State, but you lose to Iowa State pretty big, 18 points. You beat Oklahoma State, a team you're supposed to beat, but then lose to Cincinnati, but then turn around and beat Houston. And their road doesn't get a lot easier. They go to Arizona on the 28th. So their Kansas's road does not. And then they close at Arizona State and home to Kansas State.
Kansas
So,
State shouldn't be a bad game for them.
so with all that's going on, with the Peterson noise and what folks are saying about him and his longevity and his playing and all the things you outlined, now they're kind of up and down. Is that outside talk getting in the program? Is that just scheduling or whatever? Because I mean that Cincinnati loss was big time at Fog Allen.
Yeah, I think with the history Kansas has, I don't think the outside talk's doing anything. But I think as a program or as a team, they're gonna all have to come together because there's 3 games left in their season, and after that they're in March where they're gonna be taking on those Texas Techs, those Arizonas, those Floridas. They're gonna be taking on these top teams, and if you're inconsistent against these top teams, like what we see right here with the Arizona, then Iowa State, beat Arizona by 4, then lose by 18 to another top team. Um, I think as a program, they're going to have to sit down, get Peterson under control, get the entire program under control, prepare for March, prepare for these last 3 games, because any of these teams can blindside you by what we've seen, especially after that Cincinnati game. You're taking on Arizona, who as a team will probably be playing with a chip on their shoulder. So I just think they got to hit a small little slow down button because, as you said, that run probably sped things up within the program. And then Peterson being on and off the court has probably gotten that program a little bit um out of sorts. So I just think they got to slow things down as of right now.
Kind of right the ship tonight. Half Michigan at home, leading Minnesota, but only by 4. They're at the half. Baylor leading right now early in the game, 8:47 to go. 24-20, Baylor over Arizona. Right now, Iowa State on the road, looks like at Utah. Early in that game, 11:47 to go in the first, leading by 3, 15-12. Your Tennessee Vols are playing a very sneaky, very good Missouri team, but they're leading with 6:58 to go in the first half, 21-18. Just did an official TV timeout. 11 p.m. start because it's out in Utah. UCF, so Central Florida, at BYU. And Miami of Ohio wins tonight to go to 28-0. 74-64 over Eastern Michigan. That's just kind of down the road from us a little bit. Duke destroyed Notre Dame 100-56. I don't know if anybody's going to beat Duke.
Hoosier's probably your player of the year.
They're so good.
Where are the chances they get back-to-back player of the years?
But it's very likely. Virginia beats NC State handedly, 90-61. Texas Tech over Cincy, 80-68.
Virginia's kind of quiet for being in the
Dayton,
number 11.
here's that game you talked about. Dayton over St. Louis, 77-62. That's just the top. Those are games that are in the top 25 tonight.
Yeah, we can't go through all of them.
No.
But yeah, as of right now, with only 3 games probably overall left in the regular season, Boozer probably player of the year.
I've not seen anybody better than him.
I think after that Michigan game probably solidified
UNC
it.
game. He can do what he wants to do. He can get where he wants to go. Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable.
I think he's number 1 pick out of this class. With all the stuff.
I don't know how you could argue against it.
Like I said earlier, talent-wise, Peterson's the best player in the country. With the intangibles and all that, it's Boozer, best player in the country. Um, let's say like right now, who's it? The Kings who have number one pick. As of right now,
Yeah,
I'm
based on
probably
record.
I'm taking Boozer. That's just me personally, because I a couple episodes ago I was high on Peters,
Sure.
but all this other stuff that was that's been coming out, I don't know, you know, or I could be like Perkins and just give out like a random SEC guy going number one.
Yeah, a team I hope people were talking about different teams. A team I hope people will pump the brakes on is Houston. You'll look at their record. Um, they've lost three in a row,
Hmm.
but they've lost them at Iowa State, at home against Arizona, losing tonight at Kansas. You lose to Iowa State by 3. You lose late to Arizona by 7, and Kansas got you tonight at home. They got you by 13, 69-56. So I hope if you're a Houston Cougar fan,
Granted, they did put him through a gauntlet.
yeah, I hope you're like, don't freak out. That is the gauntlet of gauntlets. Arizona, those teams are at least Sweet 16, if not Elite 8 caliber teams. So if you're a Houston fan out there and you're nervous, please don't be. If you want to be nervous, come on over, be a Kentucky fan. We'll help you with nerves.
All right. Let's see here. Have they gone any bracketologies out?
At this point, I just hope at this point I just hope Kentucky makes the dance. Right? Let's just be honest with you. I just hope they make.
What's the bracketology?
So here's this is ESPN.com. Bracketology by Dr. Joe Lenardi. I don't know if he's really a doctor or not. How do we do this, Jared? Duke, top overall seed. The last team in is New Mexico.
Yeah, we'll start with the East and then head over to the West.
And the first team out, and it couldn't happen to a better team, Ohio. So in the East, again, these are bracketology. Joe Lenardi, I mean, it's pretty close to have to get this much right. But Jared, I'll run you through the East real quick. Number 1 seed Duke, 16 App State, 8 Iowa, 9 Georgia, 5 St. John's, 12 Liberty.
I'll let you read the East.
4 Alabama, 13 North Dakota State.
Look at that, another North Dakota State Alabama rematch. Those teams played each other a couple years ago.
6 Louisville versus the playing game, Missouri Santa Clara, that's the 11 seed. Kansas versus Austin Peay. You went to a camp at Austin Peay. How'd you like to go to Austin Peay in your freshman year? Hey, you get to play Kansas in the tournament.
Have you seen Austin Peay's record? They're 15-1 and leading their conference right now.
Utah State, UCF, that's a 7-10 matchup, and the 2-15 would be Purdue versus Utah Tech.
All right, then we'll head on to the South. Number 1 is UConn. They'll take on.
How does UConn get in the South? Throw that out there.
They'll play UMBC or Howard. Then Kentucky will play Clemson as of right now in an 8-9 game.
Congratulations, Kentucky. If you win that game, you get to get beat by UConn.
And then over in San Diego, Arkansas will play Yale. Then Texas Tech will play UNC Willington. And then in Oklahoma City, St. Louis will take on Miami, Ohio. That'll be a interesting game to watch for sure. Then Nebraska will take on number 14 Navy. And then Wisconsin will take on number 10 Texas. And then Houston will take on number 15 Portland State.
Maybe take the next one and we'll alternate?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to the Midwest, where Chicago is where they'll end up if they were able to get to the Elite 8. Number 1 seed Michigan would play the play-in game of Southeast Missouri and BCU. I have no clue who that is. 8 versus 9 would be SMU versus Texas A&M. Those games would be in Buffalo. And then in Tampa, again in the Midwest region. How is Tampa Midwest? But whatever. Vanderbilt Belmont, that's your 5-12. 4 Virginia, 13 Stephen F. Austin. In Tampa also, 6 seed North Carolina would play the play-in winner of TCU New Mexico. Then 3 seed Florida and the 14 seed of Eastern Tennessee State. Then in St. Louis, the 7 seed of Villanova, 10 seed of UCLA. 2 seed of Iowa State and the 15 seed of Wright State.
And then over in the west of San Jose, and starting in San Diego, Arizona will take on Long Island. Then Miami will take on St. Mary's. This is if March Madness were to start today. And then in Philadelphia, west. Philadelphia's in the west.
Yeah.
Tennessee will take on South Florida. Michigan State will take on High Point. BYU will take on Indiana. Gonzaga will take on UC Irvine. Then NC State will take on Auburn. Then Illinois will take on Merrimack. Then currently on the bubble, last four byes or the last teams to skip the first round: Texas, UCLA, Auburn, Indiana.
The last four in Missouri, Santa Clara, TCU, and New Mexico.
And then the first four out, so teams ranked 69 to 72. Ohio State, USC, California, and San Diego State.
And the next four, so 73 to 76, VCU, Virginia Tech, Seton Hall, and West Virginia. And as far as conference bids, the SEC leads right now, according to Joe Lenardi, like Jeremiah said, if March Madness were to start today, SEC would have 11 of their teams in leading the way.
SEC's better in basketball then.
Big Ten 9, ACC 8, Big 12 8, Big East 3, West Coast 3, Mountain West 2. Then, of course, you have a lot of those one league bids, where you have to win your league championship to get into the tournament.
They also have a women's bracketology if you want to look at that one.
We can. I know nothing about women's basketball.
Neither do I, but I know
UConn's really, really good.
South Carolina,
UConn, UCLA, Texas, South Carolina, your four number one seeds right now.
If you're number one, that's who's. I think it'll be UConn probably winning it all.
They're always, man. UConn and South Carolina.
It's interesting overall. So, number one, UConn will take on FDU or Howard. Illinois will take on Syracuse. Great job, Illinois and Syracuse. You got blown out by 40. Minnesota will play Murray State. Kentucky will take on Georgia Southern. Baylor will take on Columbia. Maryland will take on Charleston. Notre Dame will take on Rhode Island. LSU will take on Eastern Kentucky. A lot of Kentucky teams in women's basketball. Texas will take on High Point. Washington will take on Iowa State. Ole Miss will take on Miami, Ohio. Ohio State will take on Louisiana Tech. And then Alabama will take on Rice. TCU will take on Idaho. Tennessee will take on Virginia. And then Michigan will take on West Illinois.
That's how the bracket. Sacramento portion in Los Angeles, UCLA versus California Baptist, 116. 8-9 is Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech. And what's interesting is the highest seed in these four teams get to play at home, right? So in Norman, since Oklahoma's the 4 seed, there'll be 5 seed West Virginia versus San Diego State, Oklahoma versus UC Irvine, and then in Louisville, Texas Tech will play the winner of the play-in game, either Princeton or Nebraska, and then Louisville play Vermont. That is the 3-14 game. Then in Nashville, how about Vanderbilt in women's and men's basketball this year? USC play Clemson.
Vanderbilt sports in general.
Their AD is just kicking it in Nashville. Then 2-15 Vandy Navy. Then in Columbia, the Fort Worth region, South Carolina will play the winner of Chattanooga versus Alabama A&M, 116. 8-9, Oregon Nova and East Lansing. How about Ann Arbor and East Lansing both being a site in that first round? But North Carolina playing the winner of Mississippi State, Colorado. Michigan State playing Green Bay, that's 4-13. Then in Durham, Georgia the 6 playing Fairfield the 11, Duke the 3 playing McNeese the 14. And then finally, Iowa City. How about Iowa being the number 2 after Caitlin Clark graduating? Iowa's still doing it, right? NC State playing North Dakota State. North Dakota State, boys and girls teams in. And 2 Iowa versus number 15 LMU.
And then you got your on the bubble and all that. South Dakota State, probably the next 4 out.
Yeah.
I think that's everything we got for tonight, sports-wise. So, yeah. hope you guys enjoyed it. How long did we record?
Hour and a half.
Not too bad.
Yep.
But like, subscribe if you want. I don't know.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, we'll try to get Uncle B back. But yeah, see you guys later. Goodbye.